Test mic, test mic. Good morning, everyone. All right, sorry, some technical issues today. It's May 3rd, 2024, 9:34 in the morning, and just looking at what the SPY is doing. So SPY is really strong. It is up by more than $5 or up by $1 or 1%. So a huge gap up, and that. Test mic. Good morning, everyone. All right, sorry, some technical. All right, so $5.10. So a nice gap up by SPY, and it had encountered that strong resistance at 511.31. So I haven't had any trades yet, but what I'm looking at is the common suspect that is a big gap up, and number one there is Apple. So Apple with a pre-market low of 181.74, pre-market high of 187, and it looks like it had a rejection at 187. Another stock that I'm looking at is DKNG. DKNG is a gap up, um, a big gap up initially, but now is having a pullback. So pre-market low is at 43.4 with a low of or the high of 45.57. Next one is PLTR up by 3%. Pre-market low is right there at the moving average 22 and 23.55 is the pre-market high. Next one is Mara. Sorry. All right, next one is Mara with a pre-market low of 16.73, pre-market high of 18.28. Nice move there by Mara. ARDX, I don't know this company. It is a float of 223 million, so not a low float stock, being traded today with 3.6 million. So very active stock and up by 21.7%. We are in the middle of the pre-market high and the pre-market low. Next one is AMGN. AMGN is a float of 530 million, so not a low float stock with a pre-market low of 3010 or 310 and pre-market high of 320. So a high price stock. Tesla had been active for a couple of days now. Pre-market low 178 with a pre-market high of 182. Had a gap up. That one was Monday and then a pullback, and looks like it had found a support right there at yesterday's body of this candlestick. Next one is Amazon, which is up by $1.50. Not really a lot for Amazon. Pre-market low is 183. Pre-market high at 187. The only gap down is SPT, but this is in short selling restriction. Float is 48 million, so not a low float stock, but still is not a lot of volume or float. Um, so mid cap stock. So I don't like that it's not moving as much. And let's see the spread. Spread is 0.05, not bad, but we can look at something else. AMD is almost a small gap up. I just like looking at AMD as well. So pre-market low 145 with a pre-market high of 148. So among these stocks, the most active one is Apple. Big order right there with Apple. So what I'm seeing with Apple is we are above the VWAP. Let's make our daily bigger. So we are above the VWAP right here. We did have a rejection at 187. Let's look at what it will do once it reached this level of 181.74, because that is the level at the pre-market low as well as close to the VWAP. So let's see if it will fill the gap, just because it had been up already by $11. So let's see what Apple will like to do. All right, DKNG already filling the gap here. So we are at that moving average, and let's see, the VWAP is all the way down here. This is going to fill the gap, which is this high of yesterday, 43.04, not at the penny, but it is close to that 43.04. Now, this is a big gap up. So what I'm interested in doing this one is to do a long once we retest that level again at 43.04. So 43.04, there is a 43 order sitting here at the bid, and let's wait for that 43 to be filled, which is, we are almost there. 43.21, looks like there is a block at 43.20. So I am interested in doing along with DKNG just because of that, filling the gap right there. But I'm trying to see if it's gonna get filled with that 43 first, because that is the one at the bid. There is a big order which is starting to climb up here, where the order is 3600 as well as 2600. So it's all at the down here at the bottom. I think it's actually covered by my face, my video here, but waiting for that 3600 as well as 30 or 3000 to move all the way up here. Okay, so now it's not in my under my face, it's right here, 43. So all the way here, 43. So that's where, how we get to use that tape as well as the level 2. So yeah, that could have just been, well, filled so quickly. So what I'm doing now is starting to build a position in DKNG to the long, just because that block of order got filled, and with that order being filled, I would like to do a long here with a stop loss, of course, is that level right there, which is the support. I'm doing the daily because that daily there is the strong support of DKNG. So DKNG is, this is what we call a gap up. So very strong at the open. It opened at 45, and then it filled the gap. It retested that support, and that support from yesterday was the high of this candlestick. So trying to see if that support is gonna act as a strong support, or will that act as a resistance now. So the stop loss here is just that 42.92. So 42.92, once I get to see that right here at the tape, which we are getting so close, we will be out of that trade. 42.92. So someone is supporting this one at 43. We are at 43.0605. 42. So I'm waiting for that 42.92. I can give it a 0.02 allowance so I don't get stopped at that quickly. 0.02 isn't really a big risk at all. I'm just moving it by 0.02. So 43.12. Yeah, someone is supporting this one at 43. So hands is on the trigger here. The thing that I don't see here is the imbalance. There's no imbalance between the bid and the ask. There is an order sitting at the ask right here, which is bullish. But at this point, it's just obviously under consolidation. So 43.17, 20, 27. The good entry here would have been at that 43. Like, look at how to the penny it touched 43. All right, so 43.50, 57 here. All right, so this one is looking good. We did bounce off of that level, 43.50s. Now, what is the resistance that we're encountering? We do have that R3 right there, which is now we are above the R3. So 43.60, we were waiting for that, and we just went above the resistance at 43.50, which is what we're waiting and hoping for. So we timed this one really nicely. Some resistance there. There is 43.70 starting to build up here. So 43.70, let's see, yep, 73.68, some resistance there. But now what I can see here is even 43.76. So the 5 minutes very bullish. Sorry about that. And thank you, day trader, for pointing out that the sound is not working. Hopefully now you guys can hear me. So I only traded, yeah, DKNG. DKNG gave us a good move. But I'm sorry that that mic was not on. Sorry about that. And thank you, day trader, for pointing out that the sound is yeah not working. Hopefully now you guys can hear me. So what I'll do is I'll just do a recap, but yeah, I'm sorry that hopefully you guys were able to capture that move, although the mic is off. But yeah, with the DKNG, we are basically just trailing our stop loss here. Um, a little bit aggressive with my move with the stop loss just because that one was a good move already. So with the DKNG trade, just like what we were looking at earlier, and this is what we call I'm almost about to get stop out here. Let's go to the lower time frame so we can see it. So that one is almost looking like an inverted hammer, big volume bar right here. I won't be surprised if this is gonna stop me out, but if not, then that will be even better because at this point we are just trailing our stop loss. So yeah, this one is really still looking bullish. 44.52 is the resistance that we're trying to break off of. And yeah, we just did. So we created another resistance there, 54. And this is going to pass through 54 now. Big order sitting right there. There you go, 50. So now our resistance is 44.60s. So 60s. So this is a good problem, good position to be at, which is we are just trailing our stop loss. And yeah, we just keep trailing our stop loss here until we get stop out. The 5 minutes, 5 minutes still looking very bullish here. Whoa. So that's the reason why you need to have your stop loss in. Uh, that was a big order that went through. So what was that? Yeah, it could just be a big order that was at 44.62, hence having that big pullback. But since we were just trailing our stop loss, that one was still a profit there. But right now, I won't recommend any trades at this level. That's because we are at the VWAP. VWAP, you don't know whether VWAP at this point is going to be a resistance versus a support. So you don't want to be trapped at the VWAP. The only way that we get to trade at the VWAP is, that first 15 minutes at the open, because at that time you have the surge of momentums. All the day traders are trying to capture that surge of like opening the gates kind of thing. So surge of momentum, you write that. But right now, since we have already encountered the easy move, which is our entry here, I won't recommend any trades at this point. But we will certainly look for any other trades that's forming and see whether there is other potentials that we can trade off of. But the DKNG mic was not working earlier. Apologies for that. But what we saw here was the daily. So this is what we call an A plus setup, just because this is what we always just rinse and repeat. You have a huge gap up, very strong stock at the open. It is at 45.57. It filled the gap all the way down here. And this is the level that we were trading off of. We were saying that if it fills the gap all the way to 43, which is the level yesterday, high of yesterday, the high of this week as well. And yeah, with that very strong support, we were able to time it right there. So we time it. Once we reached 43, I was already calling it out that it is a potential for a long. Hence, we entered it long here, added to the position, and we were trailing our stop loss. So at the 1 minute, this is how it looks like. We went long, partial, and got all out. Now the move is still there, and we were able to see that because of our level 2 as well as the tape. So I re-entered long, partial, and trailing my stop. At the first signs of reversal, I got stop out. So with those trades, we were, yeah, it's a one and done trade. So we got 2,800 with that. So let's see if there's any other stock that is tradable. One of the strong stock today is Apple. But what I don't like about Apple now is, since we were stuck with that trade in DKNG, Apple is now at the VWAP. Again, at the VWAP, you don't want to do any trades at the VWAP. It can just act as a support and a resistance. So your edge of trading that is not there. So it's going to be a risky play if you do a VWAP play now. So this is the reason why I was discouraging you guys from trading the VWAP, because now look at the 5 minutes. The 5 minutes for me looks weak. So this can also just be a resistance. But again, it depends on, let's say, the retail traders decided to just jump into this trade and have it as a long, then this can just easily shoot up as well. So it is a 50-50 trade, and you want to have a higher probability of reading the stock of where it would like to go. So your edge here in trading this one to the long or to the short is not there. All right, PLTR is a gap up, but now easy trade happened right here. So no trades there. Mara is just above the VWAP here, and VWAP, yeah, no trades to take here as well with Mara. It's just consolidating. ARDX, this is the kind of stock that you want to stay away from. Look at this one. Huge candlestick, but it is just flat. Plus, you can see the ATR already with this, because you have 8.4 and you have 8. So you're talking about 40 cents move there. So right at the bat, just looking at it, you have to train your eyes that you don't want to even spend any time. It's going to be a waste of time looking at this kind of stock. AMGN, this is the float of 534 million, not a low float stock. I just don't like trading it because of the price. It's $300. Tesla had been strong. The nice move here happened at the pre-market with this huge candlestick, 179 to 182. And let's see what Tesla will do. The next resistance here is 184. So it almost touched that resistance, which is the 184.51, but had a rejection at 184.3. So let's see if it's going to go to that level. Next one is, so that is the Tesla. Amazon, yeah, there's not really a lot of a gap up here. It's just up by 1.1%. I don't like seeing this one as well. So with looking at your watch list, the easiest thing to do is process of elimination. So that's how I get to pick which stack has the potential, because I do eliminate them quickly. ARDX, I eliminate it quickly, just looking at how flat it is. And then Amazon, flat as well, so you eliminate that. Tesla looks like it already had that move at the pre-market, you eliminate it. AMGN, you eliminate it because of this huge wick right here, highly manipulated. So you don't want to deal with any kind of this stock. Apple has a potential, but again, it's now at the VWAP. DKNG, that's the only stock that we trade off of. And Mara is just above the VWAP. So SPT, SPT is in short selling restriction. It's only shortable by 250K. And let's see. The thing that I don't like about this is it just moved from 34, 35, 31. So that is a $3 move there, but it is so far from the VWAP that there's no edge of trading this one. If I wasn't stuck with DKNG, I might have considered this one to the short, but yeah, it's so far from the VWAP that. So why do I like it to be close to the VWAP? Just because if it's close to the VWAP, then I can have my stop loss just above the VWAP with the entry, with the first sign of weakness. But right now it's overextended, so there's no trade to take here. What I've been watching as well is Rivian. Rivian, yeah, is strong. Of course, after I close my swing position, now it's doing its thing. So Rivian encountered that resistance at 10.39, which is, it was touched by this wick before, this wick as well. So 10.40s looks like a very strong resistance for Rivian because there is a couple of touches right there. So we'll see what Rivian will do, but looks like Rivian is done with its move for now. Like 4% for Rivian is already a reasonable move. So it might just retest this level as well, 9.84. All right, so next one, AMD. AMD here. Oh, AMD actually looks good at the daily. I just did not get to look at the daily earlier, but look at this one. So let's clear our level here. So we have the pre-market high and pre-market low, and this one is just in between. So, wow. What AMD is doing here, you have, yeah, this is a very nice daily chart. You have the hammer at the bottom, big volume bar 2 days ago. After that big volume bar, then you get that hammer. First green or white hammer at the daily. So very strong or very bullish candlestick here. Now the big volume bar here, one can argue that that looks like the sellers are getting exhausted. So exhaustion of the seller, buyers came in, and the good trade here could have happened at the test of this level. So remember when we did the DKNG, when we found that support from yesterday's buddy, DKNG right here. When we found that support and we rode it up, of course now, that's why you don't want to be attached on a stock, because the easy trade is the one that we did, and then after that easy trade, it's like you cannot trust that stock anymore because it's just been playing around the VWAP. Plus, once it got me stop out right here, there were just surge of sellers that went through, so you know that someone is hammering this one down, and looks like, yeah, they just did. So going back to the one that we were analyzing, AMD, it did the same. It retested that support from yesterday, which is the high of this week. Of course, remember that that one is just a zone. After that zone is retested, so around 147.50, then it surged up all the way to 150. So we are talking about at least 250 cents or $2.50 there. So that's a very good move. Now, once you look into a higher time frame, you look into a lower time frame now and look for an entry. And the entry here could have been at 147.77 with a stop loss of 147.2. So risking 50 cents. The only thing that would be hard to trade here is this, because you want to go long when you are seeing a white candlestick or a green candlestick that is preferably a hammer, a doji, or an inside bar. So here, this could have just been an inside bar, but you are trading off of or based from an inverted hammer. So that makes it a bit of a risky trade. That's why this move right here could have been a hard move to catch. But just basing it off from the daily, then yeah. So what I'm looking at with DKNG, let's just go back with DKNG. That was a surge of sellers that went through. I'm looking for a support here. So now it is at S3. Just so we get to see how clear it is, I get to turn this one off sometimes. All right, so we are at the S4. Let's look at the 15. Now, is it safe to do a long here now? It's hard to tell just because DKNG was up more than 3% at the open. Now it's down by 1.5%. Was there any news that happened? What was the cause of that? So DKNG, this one was from yesterday. Yeah, yesterday's news. Revenue. So there's not even an updated news yet. So yeah, let's just wait into that. I just did not want to miss the move. I don't want to keep digging the news when there is a move that's happening. So this is a potential for a long. Let's look at the 1 minute. 1 minute here. I don't like that the volume bar is dying when this is pushing up. 42.13. So that's already almost a 40 cents move. We can do a small position. Let's just, so entering a small position here. But the reason why I entered just a very small position is, look at the volume bar here. So I don't have any confirmation yet that this is really heading to the upside. The only reason why I went long as well is it looks overextended. So with the looks of it, overextension is very subjective. What I see as an overextended could be seen by some traders as not. That's why you really cannot trade based off that bias. But that's why I only did 400 shares there. Stop loss here is the low of the day, 42.1. So let's put that in. I'm putting it 0.01 lower than 42.1. So 42.09 will be the stop loss. Now, if I do have the confirmation at a higher time frame, let's say the 5 starts to get the momentum where it's showing some signs of strength, then I can add to that position. But that's how you manage your risk. You manage your risk just because, again, that overextension, that looking like it's overextended, that's very subjective. So we manage our risk by lowering down the share size. So 42.09. What I do there as well is, yeah, let's just put it in that stop loss, 42.09. So stop loss here is 42.09. Let's see what this is doing. So now what I'm looking at here, I'm technically, you can call it a day. All right. So now you have not the best candlestick. All right. So I added to my position there, a little bit aggressive to the add. I don't like that every time it pushes up, there's just that surge of um, sellers that push this one down. So there is a big order sitting right there. 42.36, 42.67. So not the best entry there. We will update our stop loss here because this one is just a 400. So 42.09. Getting ready to see 42.09. So stop loss here. Stop is 42.09. All right, that big order sitting at the ask just went away. So not sure whether that one was filled versus if that one was canceled. So ICE is on this stock and will be out of this trade once I get to see that 42.09 get printed right here, which is, let's see, it's very tricky. I just don't like that there's this thing here. All right, 42.4. So this is the tape that I have for orders that is more than 2,000 shares. So I don't like that this is getting that bunch of red prints. Since I'm a long, I am looking for, of course, prints of green. That means they're hitting above the ask and they're very bullish. So when it's bright red, they're hitting below the bid. So that's how desperate they are to get out of the trade, hence making it a very bearish prints. So let's see. All right, 42.09. Are we going to go there or not? Now, what I do is I have my orders ready in my montage. The only reason why I don't like to put it when it's so close to that hard stop is market makers will try to fill that position before moving to the direction that you want to. So that's why I would prefer that I have those orders sitting at my montage and just hitting my hotkeys once it reached that 42.09, which I'm looking at right here at the tape, rather than having the market makers, just fill my shares before it gets to that move or before the move happens. So now S3 here. So I don't have that best. Ooh, look at that. Okay, that is very tricky. It reached 42.69. It's like that shake off is happening. 42.70, so 59, 58, 54 here. I don't see any imbalance in the bid and the ask. So nothing there. My entry here, let's see, 42.67. So let's just put that so I can at least eyeball it. 42.67. All right, so this is the entry here. So now we're basically just at that entry. 42.67. Yeah, I don't. The thing that I can see here is the bid. Bid is okay. No more imbalance again. Volume here only at 50K. The 15 minutes, how does it look like? Yeah, 15 minutes is just an inside bar, so there's really nothing that we can see there yet. Let's see the 5 minutes here. Some just bunch of dojis, which is also now forming an inside bar. What else can we see here? Inside bar. Volume bar here is very significant. It's 1.46 million. And that 1.46 million question that we have in mind now is, are the sellers getting exhausted with this? Is it time for a reversal now? We don't know. So all we can do is manage our risk, and we can do that by sticking to our stop loss. So 42.09, getting close. 42.19, 20, 20 here, 17, just bunch of consolidation here. There is some order sitting here at the bid, which I don't like because that's very bearish. So 23, someone is holding it at, all right, we're now at 17. All right, 0.06 to my stop loss. SPY, what is SPY doing? SPY is just doing nothing. 42.20s, so that's gonna spike up there. That is the bullish sign right there. But of course, once that is filled, will it have the push higher? We're just still at the bunch. All right, so this is the thing that I don't like. The more the stock moves to the support, the highly likely that that support is going to be broken. So, all right, let's see. This is the decision here. You know, we were close to that support 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Now there will be a lot of stop loss right here. And if that support is broken, then expect a massive move down. That's why hands is on the trigger to get stop out here if we go to that 42.09. So my eyes is just fixated right here at the tape. So far, we've only been printing 42.20s. The lowest one that we get to print was at that 42.14. Not a lot of volume here. SPY not doing anything as well. All right, looks like about to retest the support again. So unless there is a spike, a surge of push higher here, the probability of this one retesting the support is getting higher. All right, 42.32. So that's why basically in every move, it's just a 50-50, right? There's no guarantee that, okay, there is that support there, then that support can be a good play, because you always have to think in terms of probability. Every move that the stock is doing, every ticker, every candlestick, everything is that probability. Now the question is it a higher probability of this moving higher? I like those greens. So now we get to see those greens, which is lots of order just went through. So that's a good thing. But yeah, the tickers, Wow. 42.15, 9. Let's see, we are at 07. All right, so all out at that. All right, so needed to give back some with that move. But as I was saying earlier, that one was a risky trade, a risky trade. So gave some back. So yeah, that's it. It's a Friday. I don't want to overdo it, but we'll call it a day. And yeah, so just a little shy of 2K today, um, trading DKNG. We did have to give some back. Totally fine. You really have to respect your stop loss, and you really have to have that discipline to stick to the plan. So have the plan and stick to it. So let's see if there's any other trades that we get to see and trade before we call it a day. Um, what is, oh wow, just looking at SPY here. Yeah, I won't be surprised if SPY will end up red today because it will fill the gap and even go lower than that. I don't have the news on, but there is likely some news ongoing with that big of a move. So let's last look here, DKNG. So DKNG here, not a lot of volume, and 42 here. It's amazing how this stock opened 3% high and now trading below like 2.1%. Was that a faked out that happened? Now, since I got burned here, I can just write this one down, write this one up again. But yeah, I just don't want to risk it. So it's gonna be, yeah, this looks like it has now the momentum to go higher. But since I already gave back some here, the confidence level was affected. So not gonna be doing any trades there. All right, next. All right, so I don't see any other trades here. So we'll call it a day. And yeah, did have to give some back. But look at what DKNG is doing, right? There could be someone who had FOMO'd, just like me. FOMO'd here when it was pushing up, but I did not have the confidence to go long. Just also because psychology is affected because I just gave some back with this wrong move, and I might get to, you know, be able to capture that move, but it's not worth the agony of being in that stock. And it's a Friday. So all right, so let's do our recap. I know I just did that, but just so to update my recap because of that portion where I gave back. So for this one, DKNG, again, this is our rinse and repeat strategy where a stock move and gap up more than 3% at the open, and then once it have that gap up, of course our scanner captures that and we get to watch that. So what DKNG initially did was, all right, it had that huge gap. So yesterday it closed at 43, and then what it did today was it opened at 45. So big gap right here before at one point it touched that 45.8 and then got the rejection. So with the big gap up, we are long bias with those stock. I'm still trying to see if this is still gonna move up. So we are long bias with that. And looking at our 5 minutes as well as our 15 minutes here. So huge gap up we turn off our pre-market data just so we get to capture and see it clearly. So we have a gap up right there. Went all the way to around 45.60s there before it got the rejection. Now what we were seeing here is the higher time frame, which is the daily, and we were calling that out earlier that we will be interested in longing this stock if it reached this very strong support at that time, which is now it is just having that big and massive pullback. So that support is the one that we were looking for. That level was touched as well at this wick. So when it touched that level, and that is 43, we were looking at this stock and waiting for an opportunity. So that's the reason why we went long right here. And we were just trailing our stop. So the way it looks like in the 1 minute, just because that 5 minutes is not as clear. So we did our entry with the 5 minutes with a backup of looking at the higher time frame, which is the daily. So we went long. Stop loss is the low of the day, and then we were trailing our stop. We took 50% out and have our stop loss behind it. So the rest was stop out at the first sign of reversal. But what I saw was at that sign of reversal, when it got me stop out, it still has that big of an order sitting at the ask. We see some bunch of prints at the tape, which is bright green. So that's the time that I re-entered the trade. So went long again, and at the VWAP, I started to partial. And while partialing the rest of my position, I was just trailing it. So trailing meaning, your stop loss, you keep adjusting it higher, and it's the sign of reversal, then you get stop out. So at this time, I got stop out here. So was able to capture this move to the long and then this move to the long, which gave us at least 2,800 there. But this is now it's trailing up. Anyway, so after that trade, we were looking for a reversal. So I went long 400 shares, added another 1,000 there, and stop loss is just the low of the day. We were stuck in this consolidation for a while. I was already calling out that, the longer, now this is going to push higher, the longer it takes for this consolidation to happen and the longer it is hanging out at that support, the higher the chance, the probability that that support is going to be broken. And sure enough, it got broken and we got stop out here. So with this loss, we did have to give back almost 900 there, and looks like it is heading up now. But I don't trust the volume here. So it might have some surge of pushed, but at this point, it's a Friday. I don't want to overdo it. So we'll call it a day. And yeah, that giving back at this just messed up my psychology. So yeah, gonna stay disciplined and call it a day, and we'll do this again on Tuesday. So yeah, if you guys have questions, please feel free to put it under the chat. If you have any other stocks that you are currently watching that you want us to analyze, then put it at the chat, please. And we are going to be more than happy to analyze that stock with you. So let's see if there's any other potential. AMD here retested that 9 EMA 147, but yeah, the good and the easy trade here, there's no easy trade here because once it touched that and filled the gap from that high of that wick yesterday, then it was just at that consolidation. We were analyzing this one earlier that the reversal happened right here, but that reversal was from a previous red candlestick. That's why that is not an easy trade. So let's see what else. Mara looks like it had formed a 20 exponential moving average where you have your hammer right here. 17.57 could have been a good entry as 17.58 with a stop loss of 17.46. So like around 10, 12 cents. So 1 to 1 there, just eyeballing it would have been now. You still have room up to the VWAP. So yeah, that could have been a good 20 EMA trade. The 15 minutes is still looking very bullish. So let's see what else. PLTR is looking weird today. Look at this huge wick. Look at, wow. So 23.64. So that's already a 40 cents move. Yeah, those are the things that you don't want to get stuck in, because if you went long and then you see your PNL spiking really good because it went to 60 cents from this and then boom, got the rejection. So not good. So yeah, you want to stay away from PLTR for now. You don't want to get stuck with this mess right here with that huge weak Tesla. Almost had a V reversal here, so shoot up and then all the way. And then SPY, yeah, SPY looks like it's gonna end red today. So nothing else here. So yeah, that's it for now. So one and done, and needing to give back some, unfortunately. Yeah, this is why you don't want to trust DKNG. It looks like it's about to push up and then another rejection here. So this could have been a very hard to short stock just because, yeah, it opened very strong above 3%. So it opened, let's see, 45.42. At one point it touched 45.72. So imagine it opened right here. So since it's a huge gap up, how would you have a bias that you would like to short it, right? There's just no way of being able to capture this one to the short. Since it's a gap up, we are long bias, and but yeah, if this one was a short, it was a move of 45.72 all the way to 41.83. So almost a $4 move there. And that's the reason why it's the best time to be a day trader. Because if you are a long-term swing trader or a swing trader, then you did not get to have, unless of course you sold it right here when you entered all the way at this level, then you made money. But otherwise, if you're just holding it, then even with that big of a move, now we just lost that level, and only day traders could have had that profit with that move. Yeah, so with that, thank you so much, guys, for watching. We'll do this again on Tuesday. And yeah, remember that it's a Friday. So since it's a Friday, you don't want to overtrade. You don't want to think about your trades over the weekend. That's the worst thing that can happen, just because you want to get back to it on Monday strong, and you want to, look forward for a Monday, not actually spend your whole weekend contemplating, I should have done this, I should have respected my stop loss, I should have not overtraded, I should have not FOMO'd. So when it comes to Friday, I'm always very cautious just because I do want to enjoy my weekend, and I don't want to overtrade. So it's a big thing to be disciplined as well as respect your stop loss. And with all the trades that we're doing, we always apply those three things, which is the strategies, which we get to just rinse and repeat. If you guys have been watching our channel, you've seen that one of our favorite is the 9 EMA. We make money out of that strategy for, for how many days, how many weeks now. And then, so you got the strategies, you got the psychology, and you got your risk management. All three things needs to be respected 100% all the time for you to be able to be consistently profitable in trading. So with that, again, thank you for watching, and we'll do this again next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.